Hey folks, Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Wednesday, December the 5th. Actually, I was on Lake of the Ozarks since last Wednesday. Had kind of a rough time up there. Got food poisoning on Friday night. Fished with food poisoning all weekend. Didn't do real well in the tournament. And then on the way home, I'm sure some of you have seen on Facebook or other outlets, I was involved in an accident, and my boat, trailer, and motor, still waiting for the official determination from the insurance company, but they were pretty well totaled. It's still sitting up there at Lake of the Ozarks. We'll see what the insurance company has to say on all of that, but if anybody has any pull with American Family Insurance, that's the people that hit me, that is their insurance company. I'd appreciate a little help getting the ball rolling and getting this all squared away so I can get into a new boat as quick as possible. Personally, I haven't been on the water. Had trips scheduled for yesterday and today, and due to the fact I didn't have a boat, I did not go out. I have talked to some guides who've been on the water late last week and yesterday and today, so I do have a little bit of intel for you guys as far as what's going on the lake. Unfortunately, it's not going to be first-hand information. It's all going to be what I'm hearing from these other guides. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 912.1, which basically, with the new lake level going into effect on Saturday, puts us pretty much right at 3 feet down. Water temperature, from what I'm hearing from my guys, down by the dam, you're at 51, 52 still. Up the rivers, it's a little bit cooler, but yeah, figure right around 50 degrees. Somewhere between 48 and 52 is where you're going to find the water temperature all over the lake. If you guys are coming down, going to fish the lower end of the lake, did talk to Mike Webb. He was on the lower end of the lake today. Deep bite is definitely still the best bite. Either a Jewel scuba spoon, a Rapala jigging Rap, those are the two best baits. The fish are out deeper than you expect them to be, just like they were last week when we talked about it. Most of the fish are being caught over anywhere from about 50 to about 90 foot of water. Most of them are suspended around that 30 to 50 foot range. Seems like they're following shad. If you find shad, you're going to find fish around them somewhere. So look for those fish to be out on those long gravel points in the guts of those creeks around the shad. If you can find the big schools of shad, you are going to find fish fishing deep. Can still catch a few on a Jewel football jig or a Jewel spider jig. On the football jig, you're going to want to throw a 1/2 or 5/8 ounce Okeechobee blue, green pumpkin candy, typical colors, peanut butter and jelly, matched up with either a J-tail or matched up with a speed craw or matched up with a beaver. Most of these fish are going to be anywhere from that 15 to 25 foot range on gravel mixed with rock points, both on the main lake and back into the creeks. Same deal with the spider jig. 5/16 or 7/16 Okeechobee blue, green pumpkin candy, peanut butter and jelly, matched up with a J-tail, matched up with a speed craw, matched up with a beaver, in that 15 to 20 foot range. Seems like they're a little bit shallower early. Once the sun gets up, you get a day like today where the sun comes up, those fish will back off a little bit, but look for those fish to be on gravel mixed with rock points, both on the main lake and in the creek arms. So bigger creek arms like Indian Point, Jake's Branch, Clevenger, those sort of things. Going to the Kimberling City area, talked to one of my buddies who was fishing there yesterday. Deep bite's really strong there as well. Fish are a little bit shallower, but they are catching them on a Jewel scuba spoon, catching them on a Rapala jigging Rap. Out there, anywhere from about 40 to 70 foot is the overall depth, but the fish are suspended from about 25 to about 50. And again, the key is finding shad. They're either on points or in the guts of the creeks. And you got to find the shad. If you find groups of shad, you will find fish either in those groups, just below those groups, or hanging close to the bottom underneath those groups of shad. So look for shad and you can find some deep fish right now. Jig bite's a little bit stronger there, both the Jewel football jig and the Jewel spider jig. Football jig again, 1/2 ounce, 5/8 ounce, Okeechobee blue, green pumpkin candy, typical colors, matched up with either a J-tail or a speed craw or a beaver. Same deal on the Pro spider jig, Okeechobee blue, green pumpkin candy, watermelon candy, or peanut butter and jelly matched up with a speed craw seems to be the best thing. And again, they're on those gravel mixed with rock points, a little bit shallower in the Kimberling City area, anywhere from about 12 to about 20, 25 foot deep on either one of those jigs. Gravel mixed with rock points on the main lake and in the bigger creeks. Go up into the James River. The James River is a little bit different. You do have a deep bite going on the James River. They are shallower on the James River, and the water's cooler on the James River, especially from about point 12 up. You really start to see the colder water. I'm doing better down lake from point 12 down to about Ants Creek on a spoon, on a jigging wrap, the Jewel scuba spoon, of course, and those fish are a little bit shallower. They don't seem to be over much more than 60 foot of water, and they are still suspended. Some are relating a little bit more to the bottom, but most of them are suspended. The key again is finding shad. If you find shad, you will find the fish underneath those. Jig bite's really strong, especially the spider jig bite from about point 12 on up. Look for those fish to be on gravel and rock mix points, gravel and rock mix banks, anywhere from about 10 to about 18 foot deep. Shallower early, deeper later. 5/16, 7/16 Jewel Pro Spider Jig, Okeechobee Blue, Green Pumpkin Candy, typical colors matched up with a J-tail or a Zoom Speed Craw. And then the crankbait bite. The crankbait bite's a little bit stronger there than anywhere else on the lake. Catching them on a wiggle wart, catching them on the rock crawler, catching them on a curve 55. Look for those fish to be on steeper 45 degree or steeper banks. Bigger rock mixed in really seems to be key right now. Basically parallel in those banks, putting the boat in about 10 foot of water, casting parallel to the bank, working it down to the bottom. Once it hits the bottom, slow down and fish it slowly along the bottom, banging it into the rocks. If it starts to float up a little bit, speed it up to get it back down on the bottom, because those fish are really relating to the bottom right now. White River's got all three bites going as well. You can catch them really good deep on the Jewel scuba spoon, on the jigging wrap. Again, shad is the key. If you can find schools of shad, you're going to find fish hanging around them. Depth is a little bit deeper than you'd expect them to be out there in that over 30 to about 90 foot of water. They're suspended down about 40 to 50 foot deep, or 30 to 50 foot deep if they're in 30. But look for those fish to be suspended around shad. Find the shad, you will find the fish. You will be able to catch fish deep right now in the White River. Good football jig bite, Jewel 1/2 ounce or 5/8 ounce football jig. Both of those are working really well. Around gravel mixed with rock points, both on the main lake and in the creeks. Okeechobee Blue, Green Pumpkin Candy, typical colors matched up with a J-tail or a Speed Craw or a beaver. Same deal with the Jewel Spider Jig, 5/16, 7/16. Look for those fish to be on gravel and rock mix points. Okeechobee Blue, Green Pumpkin Candy, typical colors matched up with a Speed Craw, matched up with a J-tail. Both those are working really well. Look for those fish to be a little bit shallower, 12 to about 18 foot deep seems to be where we're catching them on the spider jig, and on a little bit steeper bank. Seems like they're on that steeper stuff too. And the crankbait bite's working up there and working really well in the Kings River, according to the guy I talked to last night. Catching them up there on a wiggle wart, on a rock crawler, and on the curve 55. Look for them to be on those steeper banks, rock mixed with gravel or just bigger rock, 45 degree or steeper. Basically paralleling with the boat in about 10 to 12 foot of water, casting parallel, getting it down to the bottom. Once it hits the bottom, slow down and fish it slowly. That's when you're going to catch your fish, if you're keeping it on the bottom and banging it off of rocks. Guys, it's the beginning of December, and I'm boatless right now, which is kind of annoying. Hopefully going to get this situation taken care of this week, figure out what's going on, where we are with the boat. I do have some trips scheduled next week that I will be attempting to get done by either borrowing or renting a boat. So I will have a little bit more detailed information and first-hand information for you next week that I don't have this week. But, you know, guys, don't think I'm not going to be out there in the water. I'll be out there. I've got friends I can borrow boats from. I've got people I can rent boats from. So it'll happen. I'll get out there on the water if I have to, however I have to, until we get this situation figured out with the insurance companies and everything else. Do want to mention we are running our gift certificate sale again this year. It's $50 off of the gift certificate. You can order them right online on our website at focusfishing.com. But guys, if you're coming down, you want to go fishing, still get a hold of me. We'll get out there. We'll figure out one way or another to get out there and get fishing. If I got to rent a boat, we'll get out there and catch some fish. So if you're looking to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743. Hit my website, focusfishing.com, and either shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Guys, thanks for watching. Take a minute to subscribe. We'll see you on the water.